So that brings me to my next question. What's the best part about dating you? Me personally, the best part about dating me is you get someone that goes hard. So I go so hard where it makes you want to go harder. So if that's like within my job, going to the gym, I'm every day I'm finding a new way to get better. And if you're not doing the same thing, then what's the point? But me being the one who takes that lead first is great to have within a relationship.
And then and when you say as far as like the going harder mentality, like do you pretty much just mean like hard work ethic?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. As far as like gym, dieting, anything I say that I'm going to do.
Okay. Is that and even just like on a little bit of background, is that your that's what you pride yourself on the most? Like as a man, would you say that's your strongest asset that you pride yourself on the most?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, because a lot of people be in relationships and still be in the same place. Like I refuse to do that. So every single day is I'm finding a way to become better. And within doing that, being the right leader, you will get the woman that would take follow suit. So she's gonna want to do the same thing. So if I'm going harder, being an example, that's gonna make you want to go harder. Also within yourself and for this relationship. Now you got two people who's just constantly going harder. So that makes a relationship better.
Yeah, and even to piggyback off of that, man, I think that is an important trait to have because a lot of men, that is unfortunate that a lot of men don't have that hard work mentality, you know what I'm saying? And because you got a lot of lazy men out here, you know what I'm saying? Like particularly in our generation, you know what I'm saying? Nowadays, men, get real complacent, particularly when they get in relationships. You know what I'm saying? Men get real lazy when they feel like, man, I didn't put that work in, I got the woman I want, you know what I'm saying? I'm making the money I want, I got the job, they get real content with what they have. And if you're, and there's nothing wrong with that if it's healthy. But the unhealthy part is that a lot of men, they stop trying, you know what I'm saying, in their life. You stop trying to progress to where I believe that is as men, we do gotta keep that level of like fire, about us and like that drive and that motivation to keep, going forward, man, and try to elevate because otherwise shoot. Which is why a lot of people when they get in relationships, one of the common things to where that we see when lack of discipline or hard work shows is in the physical body. Y'all both gain weight because I've seen that before to where it's like, when y'all got together, y'all was different body types, but now, you know what I'm saying? Now that y'all in that relationship, you didn't put on some pounds and she didn't put on a couple with you, so it's like that's one of them things that I feel like we got to be mindful of that as that as men. We have to keep that hard work mentality because our women are gonna, naturally just, they gonna feed off our energy. They gonna follow our lead and naturally just submit to us in that. Because if we saying it's cool to just be laying around and eating and laying on the couch, pretty sure they gonna be doing the same thing. So it's like, so yeah, that's a good one, man. What about you, Trey? What's your number one, um, you know,
What I
trait?
would have to put at number one, especially experiencing certain things now. Best part about dating me is that I'm transparent and honest off top from day one. My intentions are clear. The mission is clear. Like I'm never gonna lie to you. I'm honest to a fault. Like even in my in real life, like outside of a relationship, I'm honest. I'm honest to a fault. To where sometimes it may even cause problems. But I feel like with a relationship, transparency and honesty at the forefront is the greatest foundation, to be honest. So yeah, I would say
Yeah.
that's my best.
Why do you feel like why do you feel like that's an important trait to have as a man when it comes to dating and relationships?
I think transparency and honesty is an extension of the idea of being genuine, which one of my clips from the last episode was being genuine and being real. I can never put too much emphasis on that. There's nothing more genuine and more real than telling the truth. There's nothing more genuine and more real than being transparent, being an open book for your partner in general. You should some stuff shouldn't have to be asked. Like some stuff you should say and you should make clear. You should make important. Like and it should be known. Like the relationships now, like people be trying to and people they put that on women. They say women want you to read minds and stuff like that. That's cap. I say it's both. I see a lot of I, s- I s- yeah, I see a lot of people that want people to mind read, want people to get something that has never been said, never been expressed. But you're supposed to understand it. You're supposed to do it. It's supposed to be done right. You've never been told that this person feels this way about this, and that they would like these things to be handled in certain ways. But you're just supposed to do it. You're supposed to know, and you're not. If you set all these things on the table off of the rip, or when they come to you, that's the best. That's the best thing. That's how stuff is not amplified. That's not how that's how problems don't get dragged on to go from something that could have been nipped in the bud or adjusted immediately to something that gets to a point where it's happened so much and it's been happening so long, you get tired of it and you want to part ways or any of that. So I just think that's the first step to being genuine.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that, yeah, the man, that transparency, man, I'm big on that too, that's one of my shout out my church Evolve, man. That's one of they acronyms they use a lot is true, being true, transparent, real, and unedited. You know what I'm saying? Like that's one of the coldest acronyms I ever heard because it's like a double entendre. I know you're a rap man, you know what I'm saying? So triple entendre dang there, but it's like because that's like a lifestyle. Like that's like that's just not like a trend or nothing. Like yeah, like that applies to everything that you do in your life. You being a transparent and real person, authentic, unedited person, like it will just bring you so much more, just positive frequency in your life, you know what I'm saying? Because from when it come to your finances, you know what I'm saying, your finances will start to flow more smoothly when you not scheming and scamming and trying to, you know what I'm saying, or just, overindulging and just splurging and spending all your money to being irresponsible, you know what I'm saying? But if you being transparent about your situation, like, man, I can buy these things, but it's probably better that I just save my money and invest, put it into the savings so that way it can, it can invest in the long term. So that's one of the ways that you could be transparent.
It's like the word transparent, like in the dictionary, I believe a synonym is clear. And when I think of transparency, I think of clear. I think see through, but I think clarity. I think this is solidified. This is undeniable, like you said, unedited. For me, it's unfiltered. People talk about all the time how I ain't got a filter. I believe transparent, a synonym is most likely clear, and that's to me that's one of the best ways to describe it. I'm just clear. I want everything to be clear.
Yeah, and that's another thing too, man. That's what I had to. That's another thing too. I know when we kind of talk about that pride thing, a lot of men struggle with that too, because it's like we be so prideful, or sometimes we don't want to be transparent because of the prides, where we be like, man, I ain't finna be making look like I don't know what I'm not, I don't know what I'm talking about, or shoot, the fact of just not having the answers, or like how I've talked about, we talked about that. I talked about it on one of the clips. Is like a lot of men fear being transparent because of what it can do, or it can hurt people. That it let people down when you be real and transparent. And that's something I've, personally, I struggle with that. I've suffered from that in my life. In relationships and dating and stuff like that, to where that has caused, it actually can cause more pain if you delay being transparent and you delay telling the truth and being honest with that woman that you dealing with, whether it be good or bad. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not always like a breakup situation. It could be just transparency, like how you said up front. I believe that's one of the most important things um, men in today's world need to really practice, is like upfront transparency. Because man, if you be honest with these women upfront about what your intentions are, what you looking for, what you really pursuing, where you at in your life. Because like how you said, it will help avoid the women having to do the mind game, reading your mind. Because women, they gonna follow our lead every time, everywhere it go. So if we're not, but we can eliminate that, what I'm saying, out and nip it in the bud, if we just be transparent, like, man, this is what I'm looking for, this is where I'm at, this the kind of man I am, and be honest about this conversation we having to talk about. This is the good, these are the good things in me, and these are the bad things in me. And I believe if we do that, man, we'll have a higher success rate when it comes to healthier relationships. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that was good, man. But yeah, then I would say for me, um, you already know, yet again, broken record type stuff. Can't say it more than enough. But my biggest, me personally, my biggest trait and asset about myself is my relationship with God. You know what I'm saying? That's my most powerful force. You know what I'm saying? I do a whole sermon on that joint. You know what I'm saying? Because and I've just learned that because it's like for me, that's just like I'm a very resourceful person. So it's like I'm always going to try to figure out the way my mind and my spirit is set up. I'm going to try to figure out where can I go to get the best answers and resources and tools to help other people. And throughout my life, I've learned the source. You know what I'm saying? That's the best place to go because it's given me so much life knowledge. You know, just on how to navigate aside from the spiritual side, how to navigate, my mental health, and you know what I'm saying, and particularly, it brings me a lot more peace too. You know what I'm saying, like because when I've gone through like a lot of more, heartbreaks and challenging times of my life, because I'm in tune with God, it's like man, I'm able to see like okay, this is the reason why we're going through this. So I believe that translates into I know that's going to be my strongest, once I get in a relationship, because I'm not in a relationship right now, you know what I'm saying? Been single, my whole life, pretty much, you know what I'm saying? But I know it's my strongest asset because it's always going to keep me grounded and it's always going to validate me to be the leader and the head of my household, you know what I'm saying? Once I get married and once I, become a parent and things like that, because it really humbles me and it makes me more of a graceful man, you know what I'm saying? And it takes away, and y'all know how I am, like I'm a super laid back person naturally, so it's like my relationship and my discernment when it come to God make me way more smooth in life too. When stuff be happening, I'll be like, I handle stuff a lot more smoother because I understand it from a spiritual lens. Because if I didn't have that, I'd be probably crashing out myself. You know how we was when we was kids. When you don't know stuff, you be like, man, I don't know what's going on. But it's like I know that's the thing that's gonna, once I get in a relationship and once I get married, my wife is really going to benefit from my relationship with God, because it's gonna lead us through a lot of strong things. You know what I'm saying? And it also helps me, particularly control, a lot of my temptations and desires because I'm looking at it from a God lens and taking my flesh out of it, or my personal desires. So that's pretty much what that is, man.